Hey guys, so the cryptocurrency coin Solana has just crossed the $100 mark and it's pushed through its 98 resistance where it was stuck. What caused this? I think I found the answer. We're going to take a look at that very shortly. But just for those who aren't familiar with Solana, what is it? You probably heard about it a lot recently since it's pumped up from its low levels. I was buying in Solana around the high 20s, low 30 mark. So my average price is probably about 31, 32. So this is pumped up massively. But I do want to share with you one risk which has got me concerned. But before that, let's just find out why is it crossing the $100 mark. So Solana are focused around being a secure and quick, low fee blockchain. So they want to keep it really simple. They want to be quick. They want to have low fees. And they measure that through their transaction per second. So let me put this into perspective. Bitcoin carries out about 5 transactions per second. Ethereum is about 17. I believe Cardano is about 250, but Solana is at 65,000 transactions per second. Okay, so just put that into context of how many transactions it can compute. Now, the theoretical limit for the Solana blockchain is actually 700,000 as it improves with Moore's law over time. Now, to put that into perspective, Nasdaq probably carries around 500,000 transactions per second, so we can compete with that. Now, it also boasts a 400 milliseconds block time, which is really strong and super low fees compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, now how it does this is it merges something called proof of history along with proof of stake, which you can look into, and it's quite an interesting read, but it's something different. So the proof of stake we're used to, and then the proof of history is something they've added on. Now, we also know Solana is backed by Sam Bankman-Fried, who's the founder of Alameda Research, FTX. We know they're doing big things in the crypto space, and they're one of the biggest and earliest VC funds focused on cryptocurrencies. Now, we also know there's a locked-in supply of around 500 million. I think the exact number is about 489 million Solana to be produced. And I'm going to touch upon a red flag very shortly. But before we do that, let's just quickly look at why we think it's suddenly just broken through this 98 resistance level and just climbed higher now, sitting at 101 US dollars. I mean, look, if we just go back here, we were at 44 on the 15th of August. Okay, guys, that's 2 weeks ago. And if you just go back a bit more, we can see we were sitting there at 27. This is where I was purchasing just in July. Okay, during when Bitcoin was tanking, everything was tanking. I mean, so if you were to purchase in there, you're looking at 268% return. So this, along with Cardano, has been giving me massive returns recently. Both of them have gone on an absolute tear, and I've benefited from really buying in low when everybody else was scared. And that's what we promote here: is buy when others are afraid, and then when everybody's promoting right now, I'm not buying anything here. I've got to think of my escape plan, which is what we'll discuss very shortly. But before that, what's kind of causing this increase? So if we look at, there's an article here, we can see that it says Solana teased an ignition event. Solana burn. Solana price hits $100 for the first time after mysterious ignition event. So if you go to Twitter, you can see that they tweeted this video. It's just showing a flame and T-3, 2, 1. If you click the link, you head over to a dedicated landing page. And same thing, the sky's the limit. What will you launch? Now, this has got everybody thinking that Solana are going to introduce some burning. And so that's probably one of the reasons why we've seen the price just surge up, because everybody's saying, oh, if we're burning, we're going to reduce the supply, that's going to increase the value of our Solana. But I'm not too sure if it's burning, because every other time Solana's done any burning, they've not created a fuss around social media or created a landing page for this. I feel like they're doing something different. And the words I'm focused on here are the sky's the limit. Why are they saying the sky's the limit? What will you launch? So this has got me thinking, are they going to create some sort of a platform for developers to launch dApps? Are they going to introduce some sort of an NFT platform where people can launch their NFTs? It's something around what people can launch, because they're saying, what will you launch? And so for me, it's not burning, even though they've put the ignition. It's quite a clever little thing there. Also, ignition is what your ignition for a rocket to launch. What are you going to launch? So that's kind of what's got Solana moving now. Okay, so that's where we're at with Solana. We've seen it pumped. I really do believe in this project long term, which is what's kept me in it. I was buying in at the lows long before people were thinking this is a top platform. And the fact that it's pumped now with no kind of, this is the kind of pump I like, where there's no FUD. There's no just single catalyst that's driving it up, like a Coinbase listing or anything like that. I like a pump where it happens because people start to come across the value of it and see how powerful a platform is. And that's what we've seen with Solana recently. It's been under the radar, and only now people are starting to realize and seeing the ecosystem and the dApps being built. Now they're okay. This is powerful. But what's got me concerned, is this. If I just share my screen, you will see it's the distribution of the tokens. Now I know this has been discussed kind of thoroughly, but I can't help but think about this whenever I look at kind of Solana and trying to build an even bigger position in this coin. I mean, if you look at it, the seed sale 16%, the founders have got 13%. They've got a strategic sale of 1.88. The auction 1.6. The team kept another 12. The foundation kept another 10. And then you've got community. So at least at the bare minimum, I've heard people saying this is up to 60% being locked in people with an interest. But if very easily, if you just without any kind of any arguments, you can easily say the founders have got 13% there. You can easily say the team has got another 13% there, so that's your 26, and then your founders got another 10. So at the very minimum, 36% is definitely locked up with a certain group of individuals. And then you could argue even more of the seed sales and kind of some of the validated sales, they could have taken a few more percent in those. So if you're thinking anywhere between the kind of 40% to 60% range is probably what you've got tied up in a very small group of people's pockets. And this is a risk any of us invested in Solana have to think about. Now, humans are humans, businesses are businesses, projects are projects. Now, these individual people, let's say it's 5 people, let's say it's 10 people, at any given moment in time, they can get bored, they could want to cash out, they could want to focus on another project, they could have an issue in their life that they want to deal with, or somebody gets sick or ill, and that's a risk, right? Because if that much value, and especially after this pump, has gone into these people's pockets, that could be extraordinarily life-changing wealth for them, and they may be deciding to cash out. We see this with stocks all the time. We see that after lockup periods for IPOs. We see that on direct listings like Coinbase. I've spoke about a lot on this channel. When it's time for people to cash in, they will, because that's ultimately why people are doing this. And even though they will be, visionaries and they want to build the Solana to better the ecosystem, when there is an opportunity and they're holding 40 to 60%, we as investors have to be mindful that this could dump at any moment. And so that's why you should always invest with what you can afford to lose. You should build your portfolios and keep Solana as a certain percent and try to be quite methodical around that, such that if you lost that, 1% or 2% of your crypto portfolio, you're not kicking yourselves. But at the same time, it's enough that if it pumps and, you have true conviction in the project and it pumps, you don't feel like you didn't put enough in. And that's the fine balance here in investment. You want to make sure you've put enough in that when it pumps, you go, okay, I had conviction and I put enough in that I'm benefiting. But not too much that if it was to tank, you'd be wiped out and you wouldn't be able to recover from that. Okay, guys, so that's Solana. We can see it pumping above $100 thanks to this ignition landing page. I wonder what they're going to launch. It's going to be really interesting. What's the date they said? So they said this is going to launch August the 31st to October the 8th. So it's a bit of a range. I wonder what it is. We'll keep you updated, no doubt. And that's it. That's Solana. We'll see you in the next one.